Hello, my name is Nguyễn Thị Ánh Tuyết. I'm Associate Professor of School of Environment Science and Technology, belong to Hanoi University of Science and Technology. Good morning. I'm going to talk about the impacts of organizational factors and plastic waste management on the circular economy practice and case study in Vietnam. We do agree that raising awareness is very important in order to shift from the linear economy to circular economy. For example, when we talk about consumable products, I have a soap and fragrant clothes is common benefit for most usual consumers. When concerning circular economy practice, consumers should concern about sustainable benefit like I advocate reducing pollution through less packaging. In the world economy, small and medium enterprises account for about 90% of business and employ about 50 to 60% of the world population. Concerning CE practice, percentage of SME linked to global supply is low. For example, in Asian country, Malaysia is 46%, Thailand 30%, and Vietnam only 21%. We are lacking a gradation such as products and service quality, environment and social quality. Therefore, digitization and innovation are very needed for Vietnam SME. Besides motivations for circular economy, we also look at pressures for circular economy to see the challenges for the economies of small and medium enterprises. Based on the surveys of SMEs on motivation, which is done by Business School, Aston University, our colleagues. So it seems that the biggest motivation to pay attention to social responsibility is the ethical obligation, and the biggest motivation to pay attention to the environment is the comply with the law. And based on the surveys of SMEs on pressures, it seems that the biggest pressure to pay attention to social responsibility is the customers, and the biggest pressure to pay attention to the environment comes from the government. Now, this is a summary of our hypothesis test for about 300 SMEs in Vietnam, and the outcome of the analysis is shown in the table. As seen, the importance of leadership is reflected in the result, showing the significant positive impact on innovation and skill and competencies. Innovation has a significant positive effect, where culture also affect and skill and competencies does not have a significant impact on CE practice, respectively. You see in the figures. So circular economy practice have a significant positive effect on sustainable performance. Yeah, it appears in the hypothesis H7. You see in the pictures. So now I'm talking about the case study of plastic sectors in Vietnam. Most of the economic sector have demand on plastics. We use the input-output tables to unveil the consumer demand for plastic by sectors during the period 2027 to 2018. So this figure of PET plastic, as you see, high demand for packaging plastic are food industry. You see here from sector 35 to 49, and electricity and electronic sectors from 77 to 86, for example. Now, this is our inventory for plastic waste flow in 2018. A result, you see, over 60% of plastic after use were recycled, consisting of 4 parts. A part were collected by waste collection company and then transported to plastic factories. A part were collected by scrap traders, rather at plastic recycling change village and then transport to plastic factory afterwards. A part were collected by arbitrary recycled at plastic recycling change village, and a part were self-resolved by the producers. So nearly 40% of plastic after use left the circle, consisting of 3 parts. A part were treated with domestic and medical solid waste. A part were disposed at landfill, and a part will uncontrollably discharge into the environment. This is 10 types of plastic waste finding in the field study and by journalists also. This is a data from plastic pollution diagnostics. So it shows that plastic waste is by far the most abundant type of waste collected in the river and coastal sites. It's accounting for 90% of the number of the item and 71% by weight. The top 10 most common plastic items account for more than 80% of the total plastic waste end up in waterways. Most of these items are single-use, and this is a figures of density of single-use plastic waste at 7 coastal survey locations in Vietnam. So to come up with better solution for plastic waste management, we sketch out an overall picture of plastic circle based on the above result in order to quantify all primary and recycled material flow going into stages of production, consumption, and disposal of plastics. So you see in the pictures, in a value of chain of plastic industry, the upstream include petrochemicals, refineries, and chemical plants, which transform fossil feedstock into plastic resins. The downstream consists of manufacturers who convert plastic resin and recycle plastics into plastic products. In the plastic waste volume, the most visible waste but also is dispersed into the environment and finally into the sea is the single-use plastic package. For controlling the single-use plastic waste, we need to focus on both directions, upstream and downstream. For upstream control, it is necessary to step by step eliminate the production and consumption of plastic single-use products. For upstream activity, it needs to have involvement of stakeholders group, include policymakers for stopping the production of single-use packaging product and replacing them by multiple-use ones or other materials. Specialists in related to issue of supporting management bodies and waste facility owners for having different ways to get more benefit for their work related to plastic waste control. For example, taxation, product standards, waste collection facility, training and education, for example. For downstream activity, the priority should be put on physical solution and technology to get higher efficiency in waste separation and sort, as well as waste collection and treatment centers. The main actor for this work should not be final user, but many waste collector and waste treatment facility owners. As seen in the cycles, the single-use products which occupies about 16% of total plastic and indiscriminate waste into the environment, which occupy about 20% of total plastics. They are more challenging in the waste management in Vietnam. The recycling and multiple-use product might be easier controlled in the case of our country. So towards circular economy practice, this is some typical alternative materials in Vietnam. For bioplastic is a certified polymer material that is fully biodegradable, such as PNA, PBS, PBAT, and green ingredients of natural origin, such as corn, flour, vegetable starch, collagen, and cellular fiber, etc. And this is important note about behavior chain methodology for plastic bags. Behavior chain green, in other words, consider both the design chain from the consumer side and the consequence for the supermarkets. So it is evident that the behavior chain cannot be only obtained by raising awareness of customers, because only environmental responsibility customers will be available in giving up with some contrast, yeah, and we just analyzed it before. So in this sense, an iteration of possible tune options to be considered for promoting behavior change and at the same time increasing the number of clients could be. This is the last my slide of my talk. Thank you for your attention.